Top 4 at the end of the regular season, my guess, Alabama, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Texas A&M. There's going to have to be some real carnage at the top to get Cincinnati in there, man, because, like, you would need Ohio State to lose a game. You would need Notre Dame to beat Clemson. You would need Alabama to beat Florida. That's the only way you're getting a Texas A&M or a Cincinnati in. Like, that's it. You need mass carnage. You need people to get beat. You need Michigan State to beat Ohio State or Michigan to beat Ohio State. You need... It would help you if Alabama lost the game, but then again, nah, man. You need so many things to go your way for Cincinnati to get into this thing that it's nearly impossible, which is why we talk about the group of 5 and how it's always going to be left out of this thing called the playoff. And it's probably one of the reasons why group of 5 coaches are the first ones to say the playoff is not the end-all, be-all of life. I'm like, because y'all can't get in. Like, that's a tack I would take. I couldn't get in. But I keep trying to knock down the door. Because you won't turn down nothing but your collar if they invite you. You know? Central Florida will play for New Year's 6 next year. Mark my word. I mean, cool, dog. They played for New Year's 6 2 years ago. What's your point? Like, that's not a take. It's always been said that on either side of the rivalry, OSU could lose every game of the season. And as long as they beat Michigan, their season was a good season, and vice versa. Yeah, like, Ryan Day and Urban Meyer describe winning that game as feeling relief. They don't describe it as feeling victorious, which I think tells you a lot. I believe Florida will be able to keep up with Alabama. Okay. I mean, Ole Miss was able to do it. Can you win, though? Because keeping up ain't going to get you into the playoff. You got to win because you caught that L against Texas A&M. Let me see. Look, we didn't play worth the crap last year. Everyone knew this was coming. I think he's talking about Alabama. Since he has a chance next year, if they're undefeated, they play Notre Dame and Indiana. I mean, again, you're asking for something that is almost impossible. Like Central Florida got close to it, trying to reel off all those games in a row. They get into the Fiesta Bowl and they lose to an LSU team that turns out was going to be good, but wasn't good just right then. Like they were right there at the end too, looking like they might have an opportunity to steal that one. You're asking these group of 5 teams to do something that Clemson was doing and only Clemson was doing, which is reeling off like 29 straight. It's difficult because Clemson was the only other team that was able to do it. You know, think about that. We didn't ask Ohio State to do that. We didn't ask Oklahoma to do that. We didn't ask LSU to do that. We didn't ask Alabama to do that. But we want to ask Cincinnati to do that? Nah, man, that doesn't make any sense. I feel terribly confident in saying I'm 100% certain that Urban Meyer is not coaching Michigan. What are you talking about? Why would you, like, no. I got a better chance of growing to be 6'6", 250. That ain't happening. College football nerds. RJ, enjoyed your BYU piece. Glad someone pointed out the slogan was stolen from Southern Miss. Is that Daniel or is that Josh? Speaking of which, subscribe to the College Football Nerds YouTube channel. I love that show, right? And I'll pop into it every now and again for like their extended previews and extended recaps. It's a very, very smart college football show. Might I say that it is as smart as this one. RJ, who do you think is the highest ranked team that Oklahoma could beat? Ooh, good question. The top 4 are out. Florida, maybe because the defense will give you an opportunity to stay in the game. Texas A&M, maybe because you could stop Kellen Mond. Like, the way that Kellen Mond played against Florida and the way Kellen Mond played against LSU leads me to the identity crisis that is Kellen Mond. Like, it's just, who is that dude? So, kind of, sort of Texas A&M and Florida. But I would love to see Oklahoma play against Cincinnati, and I would love to see Oklahoma play against Georgia. Like, those are good. Okay. See. So you got RJ. I know everyone is saying ND beat Clemson. That will open the door for other teams to get in, but I just don't see ND beating Clemson because they don't have the firepower offense. But they do have one of the best defenses in the country. Now, I understand that y'all feel some kind of way about DJ Uiagalelei starting against Notre Dame and South Bend and not Trevor Lawrence, but I submit to you, I don't know that Trevor Lawrence was going to change that game. Like, DJ played really well, like superbly well in that game. And I think that DJ is a more talented quarterback than Trevor. Trevor's a more polished quarterback. I mean, the way that Trevor played against 2018, he was unconscious. I get that. But DJ is equal measures that dude, right? So, like, I think it's really about the defense that Clemson fielded. They get those 3 starters back against Notre Dame's offense. That might be the way that the game changes. I think the defense is actually good, and it could be a low-scoring game. RJ, do you think OU has a good shot at landing Kamar Wheaton? I do. I'm actually going to do a signing day show or a preview signing day show next Wednesday. RJ, is there a chance Ohio State won't play Michigan? What's the percent? Dude, you're just showing up here. Go back. Scroll back. Let's see what we got in here. Do you think Josh Heupel will stay at UCF any longer? It's a good question. I don't think that he wants to leave the job for Vanderbilt, if that's what you're asking. I think that it's a good job. I think that you have an opportunity to run the table every year. Florida is a talent-rich state. You've got a great defensive coordinator in Randy Shannon. You know your offense. You know your personnel. You put up a bunch of points. You play an attractive brand of football. And you are at one of the largest universities in the entire country in the middle of the state of Florida. Like, it's a good job. And I think if you want to stay there for the foreseeable future, there's nothing wrong with that. Maurice, I know you got a badge here, dog, but stop saying Jalen Milroe. Ian Book is ready, but not quite ready. I don't know about that. Like, he's looked really good this year. Like, I asked, is he Yankee Jake Fromm? And he went out there and put together a game against Clemson. And he's been putting together games most of the time when they put the ball in his hands. They just changed what they were going to do. They changed themselves to being a running football team, which is actually kind of awesome because that's Notre Dame. You got tight ends, you got linemen, and you want to go and sun people. You know? Baylor Pittinger. Oh, he's from the 918. That's what's up. Josh to Texas. I don't see it. I don't see him pulling a DKR. You played at Oklahoma, and in Josh's case, you coached at Oklahoma, and you're gonna coach Texas? I don't see it. No, they didn't. Urban. Let me see. No chance Saban is telling players to relax or even have that mindset. They know what's at stake. Yeah, I mean, like, you coach your team the way you coach your team. That part we know. Do you think a USC versus BYU game would be good enough for each of those teams to make the playoff, assuming they win out? It can't hurt none. It can't hurt none. Like, I would love to see that game get scheduled because I do think that those teams are equal. I think USC is as good as BYU and BYU is as good as USC, which also means I think BYU is as bad as USC seemed to be up until the last few minutes of their games against Arizona State and Arizona, but perfectly capable of beating Utah like they stole something. I'd love to see that game. Keaton Slovis versus Zach Wilson. Yeah, man. You get Todd Orlando's blitz everything that moves going to Zach Wilson's neck. Like, you got an opportunity there. You know? Like, I'm with that. Hey, there's my mama. She said, hey, buddy. Let me see. RJ, why is Michigan so horrible? I mean, if I knew the answer to that question, dog, I probably wouldn't be doing this show. Ian Book is 6th and 7th rounder at best. You know, I'll take a stab at it. You need a quarterback. Like, as good as people thought Shea Patterson was going to be, he was not great. Joe Milton has not been that guy that we all thought he might be. Dylan McCaffrey got ran off, right? He wasn't going to be the starter this year. K. McNamara hasn't looked like a world beater. Maybe JJ McCarthy coming in is going to change their fortunes, but they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback. They need to be able to go score. Because there's only so much of this I'm going to put on Don Brown's head. Aggies should play Ole Miss during the SEC championship weekend. They're not going to do that. It'd be cool, but they're not going to do that. Chris Peterson to Texas. I think you're more likely to see Brian Harsin go to Texas. head coach at Boise State who was once on staff at Texas. It'd be worth taking a look at, but I think right now it's Urban or bust for them. And then they'll go take a look at someone else. See, team reaches almost every year for a quarterback. No way he lasts that long. See, we got anything else in here? RJ, do you think Ohio State got robbed by the refs against Clemson? No. Like, you had an opportunity to win the game at the end. Chris Olave slipped. There you go. That's not robbing the game. You know, like you were there at the end. That's all you want. That's all you care about. If you have an opportunity to win the game at the end of the game, that's what you're doing. Is Spencer Rattler a first pick next year? You mean at the end of next year? It's possible, right? I think he's going to be a first rounder for sure, but I don't know if he's the number one overall. Like today, I don't know. He's going to have to do a little bit more for me. And you know what? He might actually want another year after next year. We'll see if he continues to progress.